San Antonio, so
Excited.
he's never
Rick, you
been
ready?
to Alabama.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting of Whitfield County Board of Commissioners to order for June 12th, 2023. Please all rise that are able for our pledge and invocation. Commissioner Robbins.
Let us pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the opportunities you give us. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the beautiful weather that we've had, and we do pray for some rain. Dear Heavenly Father, we just pray that you'll help us in our deliberation tonight, dear Heavenly Father, and we just thank you for the county we live in and able to serve. Forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May the record reflect all 5 commissioners are present and our quorum has been met. The commissioners and the public were made aware of a copy of our agenda approximately 5 days ago. There is one item to be added, and that was a zoning request for March that was previously tabled, and that is added to the most recent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda with the one additional zoning item? Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. There's just the one consent agenda item related to our budget amendments for last month's expenditures. The minutes were also sent out 5 days ago. Is there any corrections or changes to the minutes that anyone noticed?
none and motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we'll recognize our employee of the month. Kara, if you'll come forward. I don't know if the sheriff and the captain, we got everybody here.
I can let her solo, it doesn't matter.
Tell us a little bit about her.
Oh, you want me, which way you want me to face? I was looking, I think Kara will reach her 10-year employment date next month, but Kara's an outstanding employee. She greets particularly Lieutenant Page with a song every morning, so that's
He needs
the
that.
blessing to start the day. But at the sheriff's office, we have 4 divisions, the CID investigations, and then the patrol and court services, and the jail division, and we have an administrative assistant for patrol in the CID group. Kara oversees the jail division and the court services, so basically roughly 100 people, 100 employees, plus about 400 inmates that she oversees for the purchase order, the invoices, the travel expense, reservations. She helps with any luncheons, receptions, retirement functions that we have, so she's very, very multitask, very pleasant to work with. She's a blessing as an employee and certainly a great individual, so we're very proud of her.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Where they gonna take a picture?
She'll do it up here. Captain.
And I apologize, I didn't recognize Captain Blanchard, supervisor.
Make sure you get good.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Crop me out and it'll be good. Thank you, Sheriff. Good to see you. All right, our next item is a presentation from our Convention and Visitor Bureau.
Good evening. Thank you. I'll try to keep it short and sweet, as has been requested. So the Convention and Visitors Bureau's primary mission is we're the marketing arm for the city and the county, but in a nutshell, what our job is to bring the outside visitor into our community, whether it be through tournaments, whether it be through trade shows, conferences, quinceañeras, weddings, whatever the case may be, whatever the special event may be, that is our mission and our job as the marketing arm for the city and the county. Next slide. So a taste of what we do. We have advertising and marketing. We have the billboards along I-75. We do print advertising. We're in Southern Living. We're in Floor Focus, which is an industry standard publication. We're in USA Today, because I-75 is the catalyst for a lot of those tourists and those visitors coming into our community. And we also are in Georgia Great Places. So as you can see, we are advertising in many print advertisements as well as the I-75 billboards. We have 2 digital boards here in our community, and those are primarily there to help and welcome our guests and whatnot that are coming in. Out of that advertising and marketing, we distributed 15,000 visitor guides, which is a comprehensive guide on what there is to do in our community. We had about 950,000 plus Explore board views, and those are boards rather that you can scroll through and select the information that you're looking for. Those are at the Ringgold Visitor Information Center and in Valdosta. We had about 4,248 visitor inquiries, which is a product of the Southern Living advertisement and the Georgia Great Places. They can actually go in, request further information, and then we turn around and mail them our guides. As far as groups and visitors and hotel motel tax, the tax that our community does not pay, but rather these visitors do, we had about 88 qualified leads. 69 of those went definite, meaning they confirmed to come into our community. And 22 of those were new events, but only 12 actualized. Unfortunately, Mother Nature doesn't always work with us on our tournaments, so some do get rained out. But over time, we have become the facility of choice in city and counties. We've brought some tournaments in from Chattanooga and some in from Atlanta, so our popularity is growing. We had about 8,934 hotel room nights. We had 66,000 plus in grants that we appropriated for a return of economic impact of about $6.4 million. We work with product development, which rolls into the disc golf course downtown. It's a par 2 course. We need things for our visitors to do when they come, so that hence the product development. We also add additional exhibits at the Tunnel Hill campus. We work with the Off the Rails concert series. We work with the upcoming Moonshine car cruise in. So all of those elements kind of roll into bringing visitors in, but also product development. Our Visitor Information Center downtown, we head that up and man that. That's at the Freight Depot, and that is just a central location for information for those visitors that come in. It's also where they can start their Textile Heritage Driving Tour and discover the Bandy Heritage Museum, which is the beginning piece to that tour. We manage the Tunnel Hill campus, as we call it. That's the museum, that's the Western and Atlantic Tunnel, and that's also the Clisby-Austin home. We saw about 3,107 visitors to that campus. That is still down. Pre-COVID, we were double that, so we are still slow to come back to where we were prior to COVID-19. And of course, we managed the trolley. We had 33 charters in 2022, which equated to about 12,203, and we also run the hotel route from the hotels to downtown on Fridays and Saturdays, starting Memorial through Labor Day, that is. We can't do what we do without our economic engines. Economic engines are Whitfield County Parks and Recreation, Dalton Parks and Recreation, our school systems, city and county, and then of course the convention center. And the gauge of our success follows the hotel motel tax collections, which again is a tax that our locals don't pay. But what you see there, we had a record year in 2022 at over $2 million. What's not included in this number is the sales tax that's paid on top of that, as well as the $5 fee that's paid to the state to help pave our roads. So you can see we had a record year, and we're already pacing ahead of that this year. So we're excited to see that those dollars, once again, our community doesn't pay, but it goes back into the economics and it impacts our community. As far as the convention center, I can report on that. We had 41 groups that had hotel rooms, and so that impacted the bigger picture. The bigger picture meaning the total economic impact to our community, not just the convention center piece. We had 35 new groups, and we had about 65,680 attendees in 2022. If you remember, that was kind of the year of the concerts. We had Travis Tritt here, we had Marshall Tucker, and we had various Hispanic concerts as well. So it was a good year, another record year for the convention center. Our formula that we use to come up with the economic impact is based off of actual numbers. This is the Georgia Mountain Moonshine Cruise-In's bigger economic impact, if you will. They were up at the convention center, but they stayed in various hotels, and they were out within our community. So the only multiplier in there is the $55 shopping dining. That is conservative, especially for a community our size. And so I'd rather be conservative than overinflate the numbers. But as you can see, the economic impact on that was close to $500,000 for our community, and that was just one group. Why do we do what we do? We do what we do because travel and tourism is economic impact for our nation, for our state. But as you can see, the numbers broken down there is for Dalton Whitfield. Tourism spending in 2021 was $161.7 million. It created 1,433 jobs. You can see the paychecks and the $12.5 million in state and local taxes and $8.1 million in federal taxes. What this means to you and I as citizens of Dalton Whitfield is we pay less in taxes with travel and tourism impacting our community. Otherwise, we would pay $1,398 more nationally. In Dalton Whitfield, we would pay $342 more. In the state of Georgia, we would pay $600 more. So we do what we do to impact our community at large. We otherwise would be a dimensional community, and there's no way that any community can sustain that. So in a nutshell, tourism and travel is economic impact for Dalton Whitfield County. That'd be quick. Any questions?
Any questions for Margaret?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we start with our reports from the commissioners. And there was a request last time. I had been showing this for a year or two, and so I took it off, and then sure enough, somebody hadn't seen it yet, so we added it back. So these are strategic objectives that you note as we go through the agenda to upgrade this meeting and our communications in general. We want to modernize our government. We want to focus on better paying jobs, lower our taxes, and improve our coordination and teamwork with the city. So I added that back since we had a request last time. A little bit of good news that you'll see later tonight. 2022 was our best year ever for grants. We literally beat the previous record by millions. We had 21 grants for a total of $6.2 million, so extremely proud of that. But tonight alone, we'll approve 4 new grants for Whitfield County for $4 million. So I think we're going to beat our record of 6.2. At least we're on track so far this year to beat that. Again, that as you were talking about tourism, that is money is going to be spent in Whitfield County for the betterment of our citizens, whether it's a park or our senior center or whatever the case may be. There's the roads, infrastructure, all kinds of different areas where these grants are going to go. That's all taxes that we don't have to raise on our citizens, and that's the equivalent of a couple, 3 mills of spending, depending on where we end up for this year. So that's a big savings. And we even have one grant for our friends in Murray County that we'll approve because it's part of the courts. We have to approve it, but we even got a grant for our friends in Murray County. So great accomplishment for the commissioners, and I want to thank the county team that puts these grants together because they're complicated, they're long, they're not fun to do. Nobody would want to do those, but they do really pay off, and it's been a great success so far. SPLOS committee, we're looking to reform that committee. If you recall, we put a citizen-led committee together. The previous Board of Commissioners did 4 years ago. And since that will expire next year, we want to have this committee review what projects for the cities, all the cities in Whitfield County, as well as our county projects, and give us feedback on what should or should not be on a potential ballot initiative next May, so about a little less than a year from now. I have sent a note to all the mayors. They each sent a committee member, so they can keep the same one, or they can send us a new one from each of the cities, and then each commissioner of the 4 districts sponsored in the past 2. So again, you can stick with those 2. Bob can reach out to them if you like, or you can nominate 2 additional ones. But I think we had really good cooperation, really good teamwork from the last citizen. So, but I know not all of them are still here, unfortunately. So, and some of them aren't interested in doing it again. So I'm sure we'll have some new blood on that committee as well. So you guys just let us know if you're interested in serving on it, because like I said, we will have a couple of openings. Or if you want to renew your 2 people, just let us know on that by next meeting, or July 3rd. And then I gave the towns until the end of July to get back with us in the cities. So the first meeting will be later in August, and we want to wrap up by before the end of the year, so it can go to the state legislature, which is required. So it'll be a fairly short, maybe 3 or 4 meetings for them to hear the presentations and give us their feedback. That's it for me. Anything for you to report, Commissioner Jones? No. Commissioner Thomas?
No.
Commissioner Staton?
No, sir.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes, I attended on May the 18th, the Dalton Whitfield Library Board meeting, and they discussed outreach and marketing. They also had developed partnerships, and then let's see, they had a collaborative summer program that they're starting and actually continuing, and they're up and running with that. Then they have patron services that they will continue with the elementary schools. Yep.
Any ETA on when the remodeling and the expansion will start?
Do not know that.
I haven't heard anything
No,
recently. I just thought there
we
might
had
have
to
been.
change architects, if you'll
I do know
recall.
that, yeah.
And Mr. Civic, you might have an idea.
I think, and Mr. Benson's not here because I know he's been working with them, but I think they're still in the process of awarding a contract.
Redesign,
Yeah.
getting quotes, okay.
And I think because the other former one just left and
Right.
actually left us high and dry a little bit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They basically shut down, left the state, so had to find a new architect.
they did actually.
Crazy. Mr. Civic?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the County Commission, members of the public who are here tonight, and those who are watching at home on Facebook Live. I only have 3 things to report on this week, and the first 2 actually occur this week, so please take note of that. The first item is the Comprehensive Plan Committee is meeting again this Thursday night at 6 p.m. at the Crescent Community Center. That's at Riverbend Park. That's the large building there. This is their 3rd meeting. I haven't been able to touch base with Mr. Calhoun. I don't know how many more times they plan to meet, but if you want to attend that and have input on the future of Whitfield County for the next 5 years, that's the place you need to be. Second thing is kind of to piggyback on what Ms. Thigpen said, because this is also part of our efforts here for economic development and to improve the quality of life in Whitfield County. We will have a Shakespeare production of Prater's Mill. This is the 2nd year we've done that. Prater's Mill, we have an outdoor theater, and I want to give a shout out to Building and Grounds Director Chuck Fetzer, who he and his crew have improved that vastly. That production is taking place this Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m., but I think the gates open at 6 p.m., so you're welcome to come out there, bring your own chairs or sit on the benches. You can also bring a picnic if you want to go ahead and do that. This year's production is Two Gentlemen of Verona, and for those of you who are familiar with Shakespeare, there's been the director, Lane Davies, always tries to put a local flavor with these productions. This adaptation of Shakespeare's Two Gentlemen of Verona actually takes place in Verona, Tennessee. There is such a place. And instead of the 2 gentlemen traveling to Milan as they did in Shakespeare's play, they will be traveling to Nashville. And they will be 2 youngsters in the 1950s, a rockabilly duo modeled on the Everly Brothers, and they will actually be performing on stage. So you want to go ahead and see that this Friday and Saturday. The last thing is a weather radio giveaway on Wednesday, June 21st at 9:30 to 1:30 while supplies last. That will be at the Whitfield County Senior Center, just another offering we have there at the Senior Center. And I will add, Mr. Chairman, that those radios are also through a grant. The taxpayers are not paying for that. And we secured, I believe, 300, Dave? 300 radios. First come, first serve, so you may want to get there early.
Be there before 9:30.
That's
Yes,
right.
they will not be there at 1:30, I do not think.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, get our finance report, Mr. Garvin.
Through April, our local option sales tax and our TAVT are hovering respectively right below and right above 3% under and over our budgeted revenue amounts through April. Our total year-to-date revenue is up 11.5% over what we had budgeted through this point of the year, so that's good. And our year-to-date expenses are basically flat or on target. It's just a quarter of a percentage point over what would have been budgeted to this point. So we've got the one little red arrow there on this slide.
Fairly red.
Maybe we should have had orange or something there. Year-to-date revenue, this is graphically shows us what we are there above projected and versus 22 actual. A note on that, in April of last year, we did a revenue loss funding transfer through the ARPA program of $3 million. If you strip that one time out, then our current year receipts are approximately $2 million greater than prior year.
Real good.
And then our expenditures, we see there, they're almost absolutely in line, the middle column there with our actual. And versus the prior year, of course, you have inflationary increases, some salary and benefits costs. And as we move further into this year with our funding, we pulled the library into the general fund and out of the special tax district. And our expenditures, again, are basically on target at just about $40,000 over what we would have budgeted through this point. And then you see it there in a picture.
We like surplus.
And so fund balance, we speak of this and we say that if we had the column there on the left as of April 30th, if nothing were to change, if we ended the year now, we would be at 34.1 million of a fund balance versus 34 million last month, sorry. And actual, we always mention we drop, but our burn rate is more than our intake every month. So we're at 29 million actual through April 30th. In SPLOST, we have set aside fully for all of the bond debt service and interest payments for this fiscal year. So we're now into what we call the pay-go phase, where we are generating, the revenue receipts can be applied toward our pay-go projects. And our the left-hand column there is cumulative receipts of 56.2 million.
Any questions for Mr. Garvin? Motion to approve the finance as reported?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Thank you. All right, now it's time for public comment on any of the agenda items that were printed and the one additional zoning.
Hello, I'm Vicki Alt, as you all know. I didn't know why the county administrator's contract is on this particular agenda. Excuse me. But I'd like to address that the reason why I believe that his contract should not be renewed. A short search of the internet shows a man with a rather ugly discipline record. He seems to have upset other communities before and seems to show a disregard for the law. His behavior seems to have been the same here. I would question if his demeanor fits the county. I think it doesn't. He didn't just come here out of the blue. The Board of Commissioners vetted him, you interviewed him, and you hired him. I must assume that you're all aware of what his previous record was. Yeah. So, well, A, you decide to overlook it and hope for the best.
Chairman, that's a personal attack, and I think it should be.
One, aware of the background. No, sir, this goes straight to a contract issue, why I do not think it should be re-signed. It's not a personal attack. It is a reason for why he should not be reappointed. And I do have that right to explain my reasons why.
Okay, wrap it up. We don't want to get, like you said, we don't want to get personal.
I'm not trying to. Although, okay, so A, you decided to overlook it and hope for the best. B, you were unaware of the background. C, you needed someone to blame when things went sideways. D, to do the dirty work of forcing changes to the county that the people do not want. And the first two are correctable and can be remedied tonight. The last two can be remedied tonight by not renewing this contract. You're the ones that hire him. He works under your board supervision, but you work under the supervision of the citizens of Whitfield County. You have allowed him to treat citizens with contempt under your supervision. Does that mean you also have contempt for us as well? Out of 10 candidates, was he the best? 9 or worse than that? For the citizens, that would be hard pressed to believe that there is 9 worse. Please make the choice not to renew this contract and start the search for a worthy person for Whitfield County to run this county. We have not been, a lot of people haven't been involved in Whitfield County because until last couple of years, it's ran pretty darn smooth. There were ups and downs, but for the most part, all of us were content with the way things went. Tell the citizens that you're aware of their concerns and give us some reason to accept some of the changes you wish to make, because you are doing a lot of changes, a lot of good things. You will be showing us that you're doing the best you can for the citizens and not just for the elite few. I do not say this lightly, and I do not mean it as an attack on anyone. It is just, I do not feel his presence here has added value to our county. Thank you.
Other public comments? Anyone else? Okay. We have our old business from our previous meeting in May, and then it was also read during the planning and zoning meeting later in the month of May. And so this is our second reading. So I think there was some additional feedback, some review of the language, but the latest version was posted on the website, and it's clearly marked in red. Most of the changes are all required basically by state law, and a few that we tweaked just to give people additional time for their appeals and things like that. Did everybody get a chance to review the latest one in the packet or on the website? Any further questions or concerns about the zoning changes? All right, is there a motion to approve the unified zoning ordinance as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Thomas, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, we have a resolution to rename a portion of Beaverdale Road to honor the Reverend or Pastor Clayton Brown. I think we have a family member present.
I have a granddaughter.
Granddaughter? Hope you will tell us a little bit about the Reverend, and I know he was a veteran as well. So this is just a little sample of the, assuming these guys approve it, I'll have to browbeat them to approve it, but I think it'll get approved. So that'll go right up there
That's great.
at his section of Beaverdale Road. But tell us a little bit about him. I know you miss him.
I'm Tommy Bryant. I first met Clayton Brown. I was working with a gentleman, and he invited me to a men's fellowship meeting up at the church, and we had just moved in I guess it would be his second building program. And I said, well, he invited me to a men's fellowship meeting. I didn't know what that was. I said, yeah, I'll go with you. But basically just about 30 men. They had a little business and stuff. And the friend that invited me came up and said, we're fixing to pray now, and said, if you want to sit in with us, you can. If you want to pray with us, you can, or whatever. And I thought, well, I was a 25-year-old delinquent, but I thought, well, I'm a pretty tough fella. I can take it. I'll just sit here. Well, those guys got down on their knees and they got to praying, and it wasn't but 5 minutes, but it seemed like an hour and a half to me. And as soon as they was over, I headed for the door. Brother Brown caught me, and he says, showed me the new building and invited me, says, "Have you ever heard me preach?" And I had never even seen the man in my life. I said, "No, sir, I haven't." He said, "Will you come Sunday and hear me?" And I could hear myself saying yes, and I'm thinking, "Well, you big dummy, why are you doing that?" But I went, and the rest was history. And I guess I told some people, I said they scared the devil out of me that night, I guess. But Clayton Brown, I've been visiting with him in the hospital. He's Brother Thomas. He's he's a man's pastor. He could chew you out and make you like it, and that's hard, But we were at a meeting one night, and I served on the council with him for years. And he says, we was a lot of folks wanting to, talk about some things. He says, "Look, I've got 3 items of business I really need to get done tonight. Y'all next month we'll all meet and you tell us what's on your mind." Well, people that know me, hey, I had a list. I had a list. And we went in the room the next month, and he said, "Before we start, let's go out in the sanctuary and just have a little prayer." Well, we go out there. There's 15, 16 of us. And we get to praying, and people got to leaving. We just keep praying. Well, when it was over, it was pastor, myself, the clerk, and the choir director was all was left out of about 16 people. And he says, "Well, we'll open it now for any business." I just wadded up my paper and walked out the door. God covers up a multitude of sin. Love covers up a multitude of sin. And that's Clayton Brown. He loved his community. He loved his family. He loved visiting the hospital. He was just a fine man. And that was in first Thursday night, February of 1987 was the night. 77 was the night that I met Clayton Brown. And this is his granddaughter.
I know that church really expanded while he was there too, tremendously.
Oh, yeah. We had a bus ministry one time, running 800 on the bus, 400 on the buses. Then there was a bus, accident up in the north, and it got to the liability part. We had to end it, but we was running 8 buses at one time.
You have anything to add?
I don't. I didn't prepare a speech.
No problem. We'll be getting this up there for you.
Kevin, we're going to take a photo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Lord, pictures.
Thank you.
Let me say I appreciate what you guys do. I don't know how you do what you do sometimes.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution to rename a portion of Beaverdale? Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. This is our item to discuss the county administrator's contract. It is up in, I believe, the 1st of October of this year. So that was the main driver to put it on the agenda. We've heard comments from the public tonight, but I've heard other comments more in private over the last few weeks or months. So if we do approve it, we need to specify the terms and the amount of the increase, and then our county attorney can finish it up from there. Any discussions? We don't usually get into performance of personnel in public, but we can discuss the contract, of course.
Based on the performance of Mr. Civic, I am recommending a 2-year extension, and it'll continue on with his service.
For any salary increase?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. You said that earlier, 5%?
Motion by Commissioner Robbins to extend from October 2 years, additional years with a 5% salary increase. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We have one alcohol beverage application. We didn't have a public hearing on this one because we had already had one previously, but there was an issue with the distance from the schools. Someone correct me, but I don't believe the schools approved it. They were reached out to, but I don't believe they did.
Blanca's made the contact there.
Yeah, of course, we can still override it regardless if they agreed to it or not agreed to it. We have that authority, but the schools did not approve it. It is within the distance where they have a say-so. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I don't feel comfortable going over the schools unless they were in agreement, and they were not.
Were they asked?
Yes. Yeah,
Blanca inquired.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to deny this alcohol and beverage permit to Quick Serve 4? Motion by Commissioner Jones to deny the beverage permit or license. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. 2, 3 opposed. Any against? 3 to 1. That still passes as a denial. I mentioned earlier the grants. Here's the details on the grants. These have been in the newspaper, several of these, if you saw that, where we had Edwards Park for our, we're going to convert, it'll still be a tennis court, but it'll be a pickleball court as well, and fix the foundation and the surface there. Prater's Mill, an expansion on the south side of the property, on the other side of the main road. I think that's Highway 2. There's a small match for both of those of $100,000, which we will take out of ARP, but it's a very small grant, very small match, regardless of where we take it from. And then we also won the one for Murray County, that's judicial, and then 2 smaller ones from the land and water. But the big one from our public safety, that will hire 5 new deputies for 3 years. That's part of the law enforcement from the state of Georgia. So that will be very, very helpful, I believe. So, and I don't believe there's a match on that one. So that's where I came up with a total of a little over $4 million in new grants from public safety to rec to our judges. Motion to approve these 5 grants and the small match for the first 2.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Our website, I think we actually started this towards the end of last year, but we did a full RFP on replacing our website with a more modern look and feel, more capabilities, more services for the citizens. As you know, we upgraded our courthouse here. We put all of the deeds and records online. This is what I view as an extension of that. We're trying to be more modern, more up to date, have more services available 24 hours a day over the internet. And so this is another example. I don't think the website's, I don't remember the last update, but it's been several years for sure. Several of the quotes came back over 100,000. There was, to be candid, one that was less than this, but they did not meet the requirements. This also gets us a free refresh in 4 years, so we don't have to come back and do another 82,000 in 3 or 4 years, because that's typically the life cycle of a website. The technology changes and the capabilities can be increased, but we'll get a free upgrade in just 4 years on that. Is there a motion to approve vendor revise for our county website for $82,900 out of our capital? The annual fee will be $12,700, which will be out of operating expense going forward.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Robbins, second by Commissioner Staton. Any further discussion on the website? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. I've got several items on here. What is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 items to surplus from our sheriff's department. Different issues with each one of those. Of course, we approved new vehicle purchases several months ago. I don't think those are coming in yet, but they will be hopefully later this year. They would like to surplus these vehicles and put them on gov deals. I would just like the flexibility to look at one or two of them, maybe with our public works. We've had some other departments that are interested in vehicles. So if there are one or two that just need a water pump or some minor fix that we can get a little extra life out of, may not be suitable for the sheriff, but maybe for somebody else. So that would be the flexibility. But if they can't be saved, then I just want the approval to put them all on gov deals and get a little bit of money out of them. Motion to surplus and put these on gov deals pending no other use within the county. Motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. Also have a surplus from Public Works. This was fairly, well, not too new, but it was damaged, I believe, in a wreck, and the value to repair it did not meet the Blue Book value, so it's basically totaled. So we would declare it a surplus and auction off as probably as parts on gov deals. Motion to declare this Public Works vehicle surplus. Motion by Commissioner Thomas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We sign an annual contract with Murray County, and they have already approved and signed this. So this helps share the cost. Like I said, we got the grant for them to upgrade their Murray County courthouse, and this is for sharing the benefits and the pay of the district attorney's office. So it's an annual agreement. We sign this pretty much every year, but it helps spread the cost around for our judicial.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton to approve. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. We had one incident, I think a little over a week ago at Edwards Park. There's 2 sewer pumps. The park itself is on sewer, but we have to get it to the street, and both of those pumps are 20 years old, and they both went out. We were thankfully able to get one going, but it's kind of duct taped together, and it's tough to find parts to rebuild those. They have been rebuilt at least once, so it's not like we haven't tried, but those are probably worn out. The rails are rusted through. Brian's sick tonight, but we believe it'll actually be less than 30, but Dalton Utilities asked us just to put 50,000 just in case once we get in there, but it shouldn't be that much. But we need approval, kind of to emergency fix it, because we're barely pumping sewer as it is. And of course, the only option is to hire a company to come in, and that would be a couple $1,000s a week to pump that out probably. It would add up quick.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Staton to approve, second by Commissioner Thomas. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. All opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote for emergency repair. Our fire department, as part of our 2020 SPLOST, this is the current SPLOST. We got a couple of quotes. I like it when the blind quotes pay off because we got a substantially cheaper option from this one vendor, Graphite Construction, to remodel the plumbing. At that, I've been to that station. Probably a couple of you guys have. They've had some serious. It is literally put together with all kinds of holes and patches throughout that plumbing. So we don't want any leaks or any issues with that, and it's not going to last much longer. So this will fix the bathrooms and the plumbing at Station 1, which is our first and oldest station. Is there a motion to approve the $56,000? The $15,258 is they call it alternate, but it's basically contingency if they have to replace the pipes underneath the station. So that would be additional. We don't know until they get in there. So that would be the contingency. Motion by Commissioner Jones to approve the remodel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Thomas. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. That will go against the 2020 SPLOST. Now we get to the rezones. There's three. We can take these two plus the one additional we added at the beginning of the meeting. They were both unanimous by the Planning and Zoning Board. I did not see any public comments or anyone against either one of these either. The first one is from R2 to R5, and then another one from R2 to GA. If you want to take a look, this is the one that got tabled. There was one person that came to the original meeting in March. I went back and read the comments. I recall that after I read it as well. But it was mainly around the surveys and didn't provide enough plans and details. So he has since provided that to Ethan in the meantime. And so that's when it passed the zoning board after the additional data was provided in surveys. So one comment, a neighbor against that one, but not against these other two. Any discussion on these three or how you want to handle them individually?
Take a recommendation of the planning commission on all three.
Motion by Commissioner Jones to take all three recommendations from planning and zoning. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Robbins. Any further discussion on these? All in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Any opposed, nay. Passes on a 4-0 vote. All right, now we have public comments for any items, whether they were on the agenda or not. Yes, sir. Please come forward. Just tell us your name and address. Let's get up here.
Good evening, Mr. Commissioner and Mr. Chairman. My name is Ashfaq Nancy, and I'm here on the subject of that beer license which you denied. On that subject, my thing is this: I really appreciate that we started the meeting as you all prayed to the Lord to guide us to make a good judgment and good choices. Here, my argument is this, that a building that is made of 4 walls is only considered as a school. In my opinion, the whole world which God has created is a big school for us, where we learn every day from that. How can we just classify that 4 walls of building is a school? Yet, we take our children to grocery store to show them and teach them how to make a budget, how to shop, how to value. Is that correct? You must have taken your children to grocery shopping before and taught them how to budget. We got $245 to spend. What we're gonna buy, what we don't buy, that is called educational. So here in a grocery store, where we're teaching our children how to manage our money and shop, they sell alcohol over there. So where is the fairness in this part? Why this particular building being close to that part is considered a taboo? People who have applied for the license, I know those people, they are fair living and they are God-abiding citizens. They're law-abiding citizens. They have nothing on their record to show that they're gonna commit a crime. Y'all have, the city has the police force to monitor that place with mystery shoppers and stuff. Y'all can do that part. And the thing is that every home, not my home, but every other home, people who like to drink alcohol, have children in their home. Where is that fairness come to that part that they have alcohol in the home, they go to work, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old child is by himself in the house, or herself in the house, and nobody to monitor. So why these people are being punished, where they've invested a lot of money, almost $250,000 to make the property go up? So why are they being penalized for that part? It's not fair. I think it's a hypocrisy because your God says we have to learn the whole world is a school. And we're gonna say, oh, no, this only building over here is a school, and there's a violation. I don't think that's fair. I think we can discuss on that part more and y'all can figure out what to do. That is my point.
Good.
I hope you guys make a good judgment.
Thank you. Any additional public comment? Anything else? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Robbins. Thank you.